Curious about the price of a Magic Online card? Try our searchable price guide on the right sidebar of any MTGOacademy.com page.
Hi folks, we're here in the two-man queues and it looks like we're going to be on the draw. As you can see, we are playing Rug Affinity, Rug being red, blue, green. Our opponent's mulligan to 6. We're going to do the same. We have no incentive to keep this, no lands whatsoever. And we have a keepable hand now. Let's see if the opponent goes to less than 6. We'll have to wait and see. So we have the Terrarian, which can get us a Forger, but the Forger on turn 2 will not be turned on with Metalcraft. It will not be a 4/4. I think that's still okay. We're liable to hit a lot of different sources here. So the opponent's kept, we're going to keep, and we're going to get things rolling here. Looks like some kind of blue deck. And this hand on the draw against a deck with counterspells is probably not going to be too great. I'm going to lead on the Citadel and play the Terrarian, and hopefully that'll resolve. I don't want to get hit by a Daze, and it doesn't look like we will. Now, is this a mono blue deck or is it multicolored? I think we'll find out by this turn 2 here. And it looks like a mono blue deck. So I think in general we have a fairly good chance, but being on the draw here with only one source of green or red might be a problem. So it looks like we are playing against Delver. And in these two-man queues, we've surprisingly not faced off against Delver all that often. There's a Thought Cast. Now, I'm not too interested in playing Forger out because next turn we have a number of options afterwards. So I think I'm just going to play the Citadel, and I'm going to leave up Galvanic Blast if he tries to hit us with a Ninja. And I may or may not end up cracking the Terrarian for the Blast. I think it's probably worth it. And it appears that on his end step, he may Ninja us, but now he's going to need to hit that third land. If he's fishing for a land, we have an opening. And if he's fishing for a land and it turns out that he doesn't find one, he bought them both, so I don't think he found it yet. We have an opening now to resolve some creatures here. So I'm very happy about that. It looks like he may have just screwed up a bit by trying to hit that third land. And now he's got a Delver, which I think now what we're going to do is play Carapace Forger and Galv Blast as Delver. We draw a star. I still think I'm more interested in just Carapace Forger blasting this, and we'll blast afterwards so that the Forger will at least resolve and we don't have to worry about a Daze. And we have Star next turn, I guess. So we'll have 4 artifacts. We have 5 if we play Star. So we can also go with a Forger. We can go Star Forger, or we can go Forger, or not Star Forger, Star Enforcer. I mean, we could go Star Forger, but I think getting a threat and stopping his threat is better. So I'm going to play the land, crack the Terrarian, and we'll see what we draw. That might actually change our opinion here. We can also, let's do it that way. So we'll add Gruul colors, and we're going to see what we draw first. Okay, so we're not going to change our plan of attack at all. So what we're going to do is cast Forger here. I'm a little surprised that it automatically opted to use the colorless source instead of asking us. So this is going to resolve, and we'll see if the Galv Blast also resolves. If it doesn't, it's not a huge deal because A, we set him back a land. B, we can Thought Cast into multiple other cards. And C, we can still outrace this, ostensibly, because our threats are going to continually... If this flips, it's also not a bad deal, because that means he's not going to hit that third land. So we're in race mode. And playing around days is not something I think we should have even really considered. So I'm going to dump out a bunch of spheres and stars, and we'll see what happens there. If he taps again, we're just going to probably try and hit him with a Forger. Can we do that? 3, 4, 5. If we hit a land, we definitely can cast a Forger. He's going to snap our Carapace Forger. Okay, so that actually is going to do a lot for him. He's down to 3 cards. We do have a Hover Guard. So I think what we have to do to start is lead with these colorless mana fixers. So we'll lead on 1 and see what he thinks about that. We can then cast Thoughtcast, but he's probably going to counter it. We can also cast Thoughtcast here. I think we'll just cast one more star, and if he doesn't counter it, we'll just pass because we have a number of threats we can try and resolve next turn instead of just blowing the Thoughtcast here. We could blow the Thoughtcast here, but it actually gives him more value because he can only cast 1 counter a turn as it stands. So I think this is actually okay. And we're going to try and get him to counter something that isn't a Hover Guard. So I think we have to start with, oh, this is very good. We can start with any of this stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we'll start with that Forger, which is what he knows is in our hand. We also get to draw a card. It was a land. He probably doesn't care about that. We may have wanted to go with the Enforcer first because now we screw up our affinity count. So he's wondering, because he only has to hit us 3 more times here. He's actually going to let that go. So now I'm going to try and bait out with this Thoughtcast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try and bait out with this Thoughtcast. And we're not going to use the star because if he lets the Thoughtcast resolve, we also have a chance to Galv Blast. He's going to counter this. Perfect. So if he doesn't have another days, we can actually get him with this Somber Hover Guard here. And it appears that he does not. So as much as he's trying to force through this Delver, oh, he's going to Gush. It's going to be very hard for him because now, especially even with the Gush, he only has 1 land, so he can't counter our next few plays. I think we're definitely in control here. Now, I will certainly trade if he just swings. He's not going to. So now we kind of have a free turn, but we've used up many of our sources, so we can only actually resolve the Enforcer. So let's swing for 4. And we definitely need to start clocking him while defending ourselves. And we will play this like so. And we have 2 pseudo-relevant spells. I mean, these guys got him on a 2-turn clock, so as long as he doesn't have Snap here, we're probably okay. We can also maybe race. Even if he snaps, we go to 7, he goes to 8. So we actually are winning the race if he doesn't have multiple bounce spells. And he's tanking. He's got a Cloud of Fae. Whoops. I hit the wrong button. We're going to be getting a browser coming up. That might be in the background. I hit the F1, which usually gets you the help. I'm just going to F6 and not represent anything. We're going to save some time. He did not attack, and we have a Springleaf Drum now. Very nice. But I think I just want to bash him. I mean, we could play the drum. But if we just attack here, what is he going to do exactly? Let's attack first. And we'll decide if we want to play the drum afterwards. The problem with attacking here is that if we do resolve drum, we have to tap the Hover Guard. He's going to take it all. So I think I'm just going to pass. Because even if he has Snap, I think he would have used it on his turn. He found his land, so he's going to have a Spire Golem. We still, if he taps out for that, we still got him on a pretty rough spot. Alright, I'm definitely blocking you. I'm not concerned with your guy. I'm not concerned with keeping my guy alive. I think his biggest asset was the Delver, and now that he's at 8 and he made no plays, I think we're just going to crack in. Now if he bounces something, we might be in trouble. Maybe we play the Springleaf Drum pre-combat. No, let's just attack. We can replay the Forger, so he can't bounce that. He has to bounce we can replay the Enforcer. I keep mixing these guys up. He's going to chump block once. Alright, we'll just pass. It may be the case that we want to play the drum out at some point, but I'm still going to wait. So now he needs another blocker. He actually needs 2 blockers. He's going to attack. It looks like he's going to ninja me and try and find... Oh, okay. We take game 1. I'm very happy to take game 1 against Delver, because now we will at the very least be on the play for game 3 if it goes that far. So Fling I like to take out because it's so much of an investment to sacrifice the creature as well as cast this that we have the chance to get really blown out by counter magic. And I like to bring in Pyroblast because Pyroblast is very, very strong against Delver. I think we may also cut a copy of Thoughtcast or the Chromatic Sphere. Here, these are the cards I'm thinking about taking out. I'm pretty sure I like Galvblast here. A Tog is clearly a dangerous threat in the late game, but it is a little vulnerable to Spellstutter Sprite. It's not too relevant in the early game, and to kill most of his guys, aside from the smaller fairy creatures, we're going to have to sack something. The Sphere is a one-of. It does contribute to our artifact count, so I don't like cutting it there. But if we were to cut an artifact, I think this would be the one. And Thoughtcast, I think we're probably going to cut the Thoughtcast because our game plan is to beat him with the board position. And Thoughtcast does draw us into more threats, but his only way of permanently dealing with our threats is through counter magic. So I think the Pyroblast is a little more relevant than trying to refill with Thoughtcast. And we don't want to get choked up on blue mana. As you saw that previous game, we had the option to either resolve a Thoughtcast or go for the Hover Guard. And we were a little choked up that game. I'm going to try it like this, and let's see how we like it. I think our permanents are a little more important than our non-creature spells. Now, you could opt for Ancient Grudge in this matchup if you really wanted to. I don't think it's necessary, though. Let's get battling. All right, game 2. Fairly certain our opponent's going to opt to play first. This is a really interesting hand, which I think we're going to keep simply because, I mean, it really sucks that it's a 5-land hand. That might be enough to not keep it. But we do have an answer for Delver. 2 answers for them, in fact. So I'm going to try this out. It might be a little loose, but I'm going to think about it just a little more. No, I think this is okay. I mean, I really wish one of these lands was a turn 1 artifact. Maybe we should mulligan this. We're not getting to Hoverguard until turn 4. Yeah, I think I'm going to mulligan this. And now, another no-lander. So, I think we're going to have to go to 5 here. Let's do it. And this hand we're going to have to keep and see what happens. Pretty rough mulliganing there. I think we would have been in decent shape had either of those mulligans been just slightly better by a land or 2 difference. So he keeps both of his cards. It's a little scary. Probably going to see a Cloud of Fey next turn. I'm going to play Terrarian off of the Vault. And next turn we do have the option to try and resolve a Forger, but we'll see what happens. Yep, Cloud of Fey. We're going to F6. Yeah, this game's going to be tough. Similar to the last game, we were in a much similar position, but we lucked out because he missed on some lands. So I think I'm actually not going to cast anything here. Yeah, the only option is the Forger, so I think I'm just going to hold, and we'll see what happens. Not the best position to be in, but as you saw with last game, we were actually able to come back from a pretty far margin, and this time we have 2 hover guards, which are going to defend us pretty nicely. Now, if he hits us with a ninja, I'm not going to try and shoot it, draw into a removal spell. Okay, there's a Citadel. That opens things up pretty well for us. So I think we're just going to throw out Enforcer at this point. Or we could wait until next turn and hopefully draw a land. Maybe we just hold here. He's not really putting a lot of pressure down. So he must have a Spire Golem in hand, waiting for that 4th land and just a bunch of counter magic and tempo. So I'm going to wait one more turn. Because what we really want to do is try and play 2 threats in a single turn instead of just getting time walked. We're not I mean, that's not 100% of what's happening, but I think this is what we want to do. And here comes Ninja. So he had Ninja with backup. So now we can actually probably get something down. We're going to take the hit. This is really putting the game in high gear. And he's going to play Cloud of Fae. I have 4 artifacts, so I need to draw another land or another artifact. Well, I don't need to, but in order to try and resolve or to try and cast 2 spells, I need another land. We find Atog, which is not very exciting. So I think now that we're under the gun, we're actually going to have to try and pop the Terrarian. We'll have 4. I'm going to pop it for blue-green. We'll have 4 artifacts if we hit the land, which means we still can't resolve Hover Guard. But we can try and bait out with Atog and then get the Forger down. There's a Gallop Blast, so this is actually fine. I think what we'll do is try and bait with Carapace Forger, and then we can Gallop Blast the Ninja. Or we can try and Gallop Blast the Ninja, and then bait with Carapace Forger, and then play Carapace Forger. Maybe that's better. I'm not sure. Forger does die to a Spell Stutter Sprite. I'm just going to throw the Forger out. It looks like we're representing Pyroblast, but we'll see what happens. He counters it. So now we're just going to try and Gallop Blast. Hopefully that works. If not, we're going to be pretty screwed. Okay, it works. He probably boards out of Daze because we have so many free spells. I think that's probably a safe bet. We're not completely out of the game. He didn't have a second Ninja, so that's good. There's a Delver. There's 2 Delvers, so that's really rough. We have a Tree of Tails now. I really would have wished for that last turn. So I'm not sure there's any point in playing a Tog because it's just going to get countered. We could play Forger. That's also going to get countered. I think we're going to wait one more turn to try and hit a 5th artifact, and that's going to open a lot up. If these guys flip, we're going to be hurting. But I think our best plan of attack is to wait. Even though that does leave him with... hang on, I might change my mind here. I might just throw out the Forger, because he'll need another counterspell. Exactly. Whereas this will get hit by a Spell Stutter Sprite. But it's highly likely he's just got another counterspell. But I think we have to try because this is going to be really rough. Oh, it resolved, so sweet. Okay. But we're still in trouble. I mean, he may have a snap here. He may flash in Spell Stutter Sprite. Yeah, let's hope they don't flip. We really have to hope they don't flip and hope that he just has a land here. Oh, nice. Sweet. Okay, so that gave us some reprieve for sure. And we're going to take one. If he ninjas again, if his draw set was ninja, we get another chance to try and get these hover guards up. Yeah, it is a ninja. But he gets another card. That's not so bad. Alright. So he's sitting on a Spell Stutter Sprite. We have to assume that that's what he has. And I think he'll probably jump at the chance to resolve that if we offer him up the Atog. So he's going to play Cloud. I mean, he may have a counterspell by now, but the only chance he would have had to hit it was with that ninja hit right there. And he's going to snap this now? Okay. That's interesting. Oh, wow, he's tapped out. Come on. Not the best, not the best. Well, we're looking really bad. Because his board presence is just so sick right now. I don't think it's better to play a Tog, so I'm just going to play this again. And this is really scary. If he flips here, I think we're pretty much done, right? 8, 9. I don't see how we're getting out of that. We'd have to draw pretty incredibly well. I don't even know what we would draw there. Fortunately, he does not flip, so we have a very, very, very minor chance of getting out of this. I think if we hit... Oh, what? Not again. So we're taking 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this game. Both of these decks have a lot of potential for just doing a lot of damage. He's going to flip out the Cloud again. We may just want to concede here, but I'm at least going to wait. Maybe he'll show me another card. He doesn't know if we're playing Pyroblast. I mean, he can assume we are. Yeah, his draw, I mean, not his draw, but his board presence is ridiculous this game. Both of these decks have potential to be very unfair, have some very explosive draws, explosive plays, and as you can see, his has trumped ours this game. We're going to try and... There's the Pyroblast. So, I mean, all we can really do here is play the Enforcer, counter his counter. I don't even think... Yeah, I mean, I guess we can try it. Or we can kill one of his Delvers. Yeah, I guess we'll just stop on his turn and see what happens. Because these will probably flip. There's a Boomerang. So we can either counter this and then block one ninja. We still take lethal. So I think we're going to concede here. And I think our sideboarding is just about still how we want it. We do see that he has Spire Golem for Ancient Grudge, but I'm not concerned with that. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it as is. We do have one extra red spell than we would normally. But I think this is okay. I'm going to submit, and we're going to be on the play, which I think is really going to help us out. It looks like he might be changing his sideboarding slightly. We saw a Boomerang. That's an interesting one. Let's play first. And we have an acceptable hand. I would even say an exceptional hand. We're not going to mulligan. We're going to go Terrarian next turn. We're going to go Star into Frogmite. He goes to 6, so I'm liking this. We may even Galv Blast his Delver. Hiya! Alright, so this hand is looking good. We will want more threats. And he looks like he has the... No, he's got a Preordain. Alright, so we're still looking very good. We get a free Frogmite. Top. Although that's a little disconcerting, but I still think we're okay. We have a Great Furnace. I don't want to show that yet, though actually we will just to leave up the Galv Blast. Yeah, I say why not. So that's 3 artifacts. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Let me just turn off my phone real quick. Alright guys, we are back here, and we're going to resolve this star, which is going to give us 4 artifacts. And then we're going to play Frogmite and leave up Galvanic Blast. Next turn, depending on what happens, hopefully we can draw into a Thoughtcast or something. That would be really nice. And I'm going to check my connection because the opponent is not responding here. Alright, there we go. Just play the Frogmite and we will F6. Or F4. There's no way he's going to do anything, so there's no days in our future. So let's see what he does here. Probably a Cloud of Fae. Could also be Frostburn Weird, which I'd be happy to Galv Blast. No, it's going to be a Cloud of Fae. Unfortunately, we're not rocking Pyroblast in our hand yet. So now he's just going to pass. And we draw another land, so I think I'm just going to attack and pass the turn. And if he comes in with a Ninja or a turn 3 Golem, we can just Galv Blast it, and we can then resolve a Tog next turn. We don't need to crack any of these. I guess we could crack one, but I think we're in the driver's seat for now, and we're not at a point where cracking these is 100% necessary, especially since we want to save up the artifact count for other spells like Hover Guard or Mirror Enforcer. If he flashes in a Sprite, I may also Galv Blast it, but I think I want to wait for Ninja. Since he's thinking right here, it's pretty clear that he has either a Snap or a Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay, so he just opts to play a land out. He's going to attack, and that's about it. Let's see what happens here. No, he just passes. That's really interesting. So I'm going to attack again. And I think we're still going to wait for him before we do anything, because we've got him on the clock. We don't need to crack any of these artifacts yet. He's still waiting on our end step. So here's the Spell Stutters. Oh, a Boomerang. Okay, that's pretty weak. We'll let that resolve, and we're not going to do anything. I'm going to save this Galv Blast for as long as I can. And I think we're in good shape, especially if he starts missing lands, and he does. Awesome. Alright, so we're going to bait out with the Frogmite, and then if that does not resolve, we'll just play our other guys. And he'll be pretty sad. Even Exclude is not so bad. Yep, that's fine. So now we just go boom, and we go boom, boom. So this is a serious situation for him, especially having missed that land and the fact that we have Galv Blast. I'm really liking how we look. Board presence is so important against Delver and on their side of things. So there's a Spire Golem. I think I'm going to try and blow it up EOT. Pretty sure he may still have that Sprite, or it was just the Boomerang he was holding. But we want to try and blow it up EOT to give us a free chance at hitting some stuff with our draw step and with sacking these to the Atog. Oh, he lets it go. Nice. And we also get a swing in with the Hover Guard. That's the other thing. So I think I'll just attack first, and we'll go from there. If he doesn't block the Atog, I'll sack one of these, probably the Terrarian. I mean, he has to block the Atog. 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, unless he has another Boomerang. If he doesn't block the Atog, we're still going to sack one item, but we're not going to go all in on it. I think attacking for 6 is definitely satisfactory, especially when we've just drawn a Galv Blast. And I don't even think we need to play the Frogmite. I think we can just wait. So I'm going to wait. Again, I mean, he's probably only sitting on counter magic at this point, so I'm fairly happy just sitting back for now. For him to... Okay, so this must be a creature, I was going to say, because for him to do anything on his main phase... Okay, he's also going to play this. Gives me an opportunity to blast the Spire Golem away, which is very nice. So now he's still in chump block mode. He doesn't have a lot of live draws. He has to get this Atog off the table, and he still has the problem of the hover guard. So very cool, very good for us. And we have a lot of great draws that we can also hit. There's a Springleaf Drum. So I feel okay attacking and sacking the star, and then trying to resolve the Frogmite, which he'll probably counter, and then I get the Drum, which solves our lack of green. Okay, he's again not blocking. Alright, well I am going to sack this. I don't know if I'm going to sack anything else though. I think it's just too much of a risk. This gets him well within Galv Blast range. I mean, he's got to have something here. So it looks like a boomerang. It's a snap. Okay. So that's going to resolve. He's still going to take 3. And now we're going to play Frogmite first. Which he's going to have to let resolve. We're going to play Springleaf Drum now. And we're going to play Terrarian. He's just looking to stop that Atog. I'm not going to give it to him. So the fact that we can take our time is pretty much possible because he has no pressure on us so far. And we have a lot of live draws. This deck draws a lot of cards. And we have a great board presence. So now one of his best options is to double block the hover guard. Now we have a Carapace Forger, which is really nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and sack this, but I don't know if we have to do it now. I guess we'll do it now in case we find another Galv Blast. That might inform our lines of play. So his last 2 cards may be counter spells. Since we have the mana here, I'm going to play the Carapace Forger. Then we will attack, and then we'll play Chromatic Star. So if he's tanking on this, he may not have 2 counter spells, which would be very good. I still think we're going to hold back the Atog depending on how he ends up blocking. I think he's going to double block the hover guard. There's a Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay, so now he can double block both of our guys. I'm still going to attack. We want to diminish his board presence. Board presence is very important, so even if he gives us 2 Cloud of Phase and all this, this is all fine. So we're going to just trade for everything. And now we actually will throw out the Atog. We'll do it first though. So this protects against Spell Stutter Sprite and Daze. It actually resolves. So now I'm going to cast this and we can pay for a Daze, but it doesn't actually happen. So maybe, I mean, if his last card was Snap, I think he would have snapped the Spell Stutter instead of trying to double block. So do I show him the land? I don't think it's necessary. Let's go ahead and attack. If he doesn't block, I think I'm willing to send at least... Okay, he is going to block. Let's go ahead and sack this now. There's a chance he can Piracy Charm our guy in response. So I think I want to draw a card anyway. And there's a Galv Blast. Very nice. So he's in a lot of trouble. We of course don't have Fling in the deck anymore, but he needs a blocker. I'm only gonna, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And there's a Pyroblast to keep us alive too. So I think I'll go ahead and bash him. I'll go for the win, and then we still have the Galv Blast, and we have the Pyroblast to. Let's say he snaps this, right? That's basically what we're playing against, or boomerangs it. We basically only need to Pyroblast his counterspell for the Atog on the way back down. So here we go. I'm actually gonna go for it. I'm gonna sack the drum, the citadel, and the vault. And I'm just gonna give myself mana in case that's necessary for some reason. So we'll go for it here, and we'll see what happens. Yeah, so he has the boomerang. We could try and pyroblast here. I think that's actually fine. He hasn't shown us any counter spells to stop this Atog from resolving, so I think we might as well. And then if he counters the pyroblast, we can just replay the Atog, and we can smash him for 3, and then Galv blast him if his last card's if whatever his draw is just a dud. So now we win. All right, fantastic. 2-1 against Delver. It's a very good sign. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you later.